I can see it in your eyes. I know why you're happy today. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are going back to England.
Harry and Meghan really are the laughing stock of the world right now.
Apologies, you deserve more professionalism for presenting.
Mark,
Oprah Windsor's wig.
They haven't even landed in the UK yet. Well, get your popcorn ready. We're in for a ride.
Harry's visa is in real trouble.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have not even completed their supposed return to Britain, yet the entire plan is already collapsing into a global punchline. American audiences are applauding the thought of them leaving. British television hosts can barely discuss Meghan's comeback without laughing. Even people near their Monteceto home are reportedly reacting with two brutal words: good riddance. And now, before this grand British chapter has properly begun, Australia and Canada are already being whispered about as their next possible escape. So, is this really a confident homecoming, or the first public sign that Meghan and Harry are no longer planning the same future?
Exclusive. Harry and Meghan on the asylum seeker boat arriving in Dover. Just like the illegal migrants, Harry and Meghan are also uninvited into the UK, yet, just like the illegals, they're now Britain's problem.
Before we get into today's story, I wanted to let you know that I finally launched my Patreon. Many of you have been asking for more royal family content, so that's exactly what I'll be posting there. Exclusive investigations, bonus videos, breaking royal news, and members-only discussions that won't be available on YouTube. If you're interested, you'll find the link in the description. Now, let's get into today's story. This was meant to be their great reset. Harry would move closer to his father and the royal world he spent years attacking. Meghan would reportedly explore a return to acting. Britain would become the setting for a carefully controlled Sussex revival after 6 years of interviews, accusations, and broken family ties. But that shiny story did not survive for long.
Just months after their successful tour down under, Prince Harry and Meghan could be about to call Australia home.
The permanent move suddenly became an extended autumn stay. The acting opportunity was thrown into doubt. California remained fully prepared for their return, and the couple supposedly choosing Britain began discussing what country might come next. The humiliation started in America. Bill Maher opened his show by telling the audience that he understood why they were so happy. Meghan and Harry were apparently going back to England. The response was not a polite chuckle. The crowd cheered. They applauded.
I can see it in your eyes. I know why you're happy today. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are going back to England. I tell you, that ice doesn't around, huh?
A couple who once arrived in the United States promising prestige, compassion, and major entertainment projects were now being treated like guests who had finally announced a departure date. Then came the sharpest joke of the night. Harry wanted to be closer to the family that was not speaking to him. It worked because the contradiction was impossible to miss. Harry spent years explaining how miserable and trapped he had felt inside royal life. Meghan described Britain as a place of pressure and pain.
England welcomes Meghan back with a mandatory burqa. It says, the Duchess of Sussex was welcomed back to England with opened arms and a legally mandated burqa. Meghan Markle, wife of Prince Harry, was reportedly grateful to be back in the UK after suffering years of oppression in the US where people refused to watch her Netflix shows. God, they're funny.
Their American identity was built around the idea that escaping the institution had saved them. But after lucrative deals disappeared, projects struggled, and Hollywood's fascination appeared to cool, the country they rejected suddenly became useful again. What was presented as a brave return looked more like a spectacular U-turn. Don Lemon appeared equally baffled. After all the interviews, accusations, and dramatic declarations, his reaction was essentially this: decide what you actually want.
But this was Harry's idea. He wants to be closer to the family that's not speaking to him.
Britain was once unbearable, yet now it was being sold as the answer. Privacy was once everything. Yet another enormous announcement placed the Sussexes back at the center of international attention. Even people who had once sympathized with their departure could see how difficult this reversal was to take seriously. British television only made matters worse. During a discussion about Meghan's rumored acting return, a presenter was shown a ridiculous image of her appearing in a soap opera and completely lost control.
Apologies, you deserve more professionalism for presenting. And yes, Meghan Markle has reportedly been offered a major acting role in Britain as the Sussexes prepare to move home. Could the former suits... Oh, God, this is going to get...
Could the former Suits star be swapping California for Albert Square as the Queen Vic's newest barmaid? Mark, bless him, was so determined to get through that without doing what he did in the first
every time. Barbara Windsor's wig.
It actually quite suits her, though, to be fair.
He attempted to carry on, apologized, and then started laughing again. It was a devastating picture of how far the image had fallen. Meghan's return was supposed to suggest glamour, relevance, and professional demand. Instead, the possibility of her British acting comeback became comedy material before she had filmed a single scene. Then the nicknames arrived. The Duke and Duchess of U-turns, transatlantic turncoats, and the couple crawling back toward the institution they spent years condemning.
Actually, despite the fact a few days ago we said the move was permanent and the children were being enrolled in a school here, indeed, this is probably just going to be for a few months. Because once Harry and Meghan are miserable again, and trust me, that will happen within days, Canada or Australia might be the next place. And isn't this just fascinating? Because what it shows you is that you can't run away from your unhappiness. First they went to Canada, they were unhappy. Then they went to Monteceto, they were unhappy. Trust me, Harry, you're going to be just as unhappy back here until you actually deal with the problem, which is that you married the wrong woman.
Satirical headlines imagined Britain reluctantly accepting them only because American audiences no longer wanted their programs. The Sussexes were not returning from a position of power. They were not shaping the reaction. This time, they were the joke everyone else was telling. Perhaps the harshest response came from California itself. Some Monteceto residents were reportedly delighted by the possibility of the Sussexes leaving, hoping the neighborhood might finally lose some of the attention and disruption surrounding their famous household.
And we say bye-bye, and it's the headline of them. Everyone in Monteceto is so happy to see them go, and these people are rich, honey. They are rich. Okay, not Meghan Markle, selling wickless candles. Bye-bye. Everybody's happy to see them go in Monteceto.
The phrase attached to that reaction was merciless. Good riddance. Meghan and Harry spent years presenting Monteceto as their peaceful sanctuary, only to face reports that some neighbors might regard their exit as a reason to celebrate. That leaves them trapped between two countries that hardly appeared desperate to keep them. America laughs at the departure, while Britain shows little enthusiasm for the arrival. One poll reportedly found only 21% wanted them to return, compared with 33% who did not. Another found 71% believed the Sussexes should pay for their own security.
This question about royal security has been asked and answered many a time. Harry keeps asking, he keeps getting told no, and he's doing the thing that all toddlers do, which is just become a haunt and a nag. Ask, 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 ask until you get your way.
There is no guaranteed royal position, no half-in and half-out arrangement, and apparently not even an assured invitation to Sandringham. Britain is not preparing a triumphant welcome. It is asking who will cover the cost. And that is a brutal reversal for a couple who once appeared convinced that both countries would compete for their presence. Instead of choosing between two enthusiastic homes, they now appear to be testing which public reaction will be slightly less hostile.
And look, when both sides of the world are mercilessly mocking you, you know you're in big trouble.
At the same time, Meghan's rumored role in The Gentleman was reportedly withdrawn after the hostile reaction surrounding the comeback story. The professional opportunity that helped make the move sound exciting may have weakened before the luggage was packed.
Do you remember when the reporting was that the House of Dior would die to have Meghan Markle as their new face?
Yes, yes.
And that hung out there for a couple of days, and the House of Dior said, there's no truth to this. So it seemed to be emanating from Monteceto, from the desk of one Meghan, And when I saw this, I thought the same thing.
But the most revealing part of this saga is how quickly the return itself shrank. The first version sounded historic. 6 years after Megxit, Meghan and Harry were moving home. It appeared permanent and decisive. Then their representative used very different language, describing only an extended period in Britain this autumn. Not a final relocation, not a permanent British base. just an extended stay during one part of the year.
Harry and Meghan have decided to spend an extended period in the UK this autumn. So just an extended period over the fall.
That wording changes everything. Moving home suggests commitment, stability, and a settled plan. Spending autumn somewhere sounds like an experiment with an expiry date. The possible duration has drifted from 6 months to a year, or perhaps longer, while nobody seems able to explain what happens afterward. How can this be sold as a bold family decision when the couple themselves apparently cannot say which country they will call home next year?
Two sources close to the Sussex emphasised that they did not expect their return to the UK to be forever. It'll be an extended period of time. It could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be more. I don't even think they know yet, one of the sources said, adding that they are an international couple with a home in Portugal as well as a house in Monteceto. Interesting. A home in Portugal, a house in Monteceto. They might suddenly go, why don't we try Canada for a while? Why don't we try Australia? It's one of the great things about being private individuals that they can live where they choose.
The Monteceto mansion is reportedly staying ready. Their American business structure remains in place. Their Portuguese property is still part of the wider picture. Britain may be the destination for now, but California remains available, Portugal sits on the side, and Australia or Canada could follow. This does not resemble one clear new beginning. It resembles a collection of emergency exits.
The Duchess's mother, Doria Ragland, who has supported the family in California and also accused Brits of being racist, remember, plans to travel often to England but is not moving herself. Good.
Every location serves a different purpose. Britain offers Harry his royal identity. California protects Meghan's brand. Portugal provides distance. And Australia offers the fantasy of another clean slate. But a family cannot build stability by keeping 4 separate versions of the future alive at once. And that brings us to the strangest symbol in this entire story: Meghan's chickens. The Monteceto chicken coop was never just an ordinary corner of the garden. Meghan made it part of the image she wanted the public to see.
Who's taking care of the chickens? Do you remember, Danica? Okay, this is slightly a deep cut. When they sat down for their interview with Oprah Winfrey, and they did all this like cozy, oh, Oprah, why don't you just come and see our chicken coop where our chickens lay fresh eggs? And Meghan had all of her lines rehearsed, and she said to Oprah, you know what, Oprah? I have this chicken coop because I just love saving things. I love saving animals. I love saving princes who didn't know they were trapped in the British royal family. You know, she's delusional.
It represented the calm, authentic California life unveiled during the Oprah era and later folded into her lifestyle identity: rescue animals, fresh eggs, family routines, and carefully arranged domestic happiness. Even the coop carried Sussex family branding. Those birds became background characters in Meghan's American reinvention. Now the dogs, Mia and Pula, are reportedly expected to travel to Britain, while the chickens will remain behind under the care of staff. Of course, that makes practical sense.
We might laugh about the chickens, but if Meghan Markle was serious about leaving Monteceto, if that is what she really wanted to do, the chickens would be coming with her.
Nobody expects Meghan to arrive at Heathrow, holding several crates of hens. But the symbolism could not be more perfect. The dogs can join the British stay. The chickens remain inside the California life. Meghan is not prepared to dismantle. If Britain is genuinely the permanent answer, why keep Monteceto functioning as before? Why maintain the staff, the mansion, and the animals associated with Meghan's happiest public image?
In good news, the pair will be keeping their chickens in Monteceto, but the dogs will be going back to the UK. That is what's been reported. The chickens will not be coming to Britain. I don't know, Maureen, whatever will we do without the videos of Meghan picking eggs every day? Are there no chicken pens in the Cotswolds for them maybe? I don't know.
The chickens do not prove that a separation is happening, but they destroy the fantasy of a clean break from America. The house is not being closed. The lights are staying on. The coop remains occupied. And Meghan has a comfortable route back the moment British weather, newspapers, or public opinion become too much. Her own recent words make that even harder to ignore.
How important is it to own your own story?
It's the most important thing in the world.
Do you feel like you own your own story?
I know I do. And if you know me, you know that I do.
Meghan described Monteceto as a sweet, supportive life and praised the community, ordinary routines, and freedom to create. she did not sound desperate to abandon California. She sounded emotionally invested in everything she had built there. So when the public is suddenly asked to believe she is thrilled about returning to the country she once fled, skepticism is not unreasonable. It is the natural response.
So Meghan Markle might think she's being clever, right? Like, did you see this as ever ad over the weekend? Something special is on its way. A new chapter to celebrate. Well, look, the only new chapter you're getting close to, Ms. Markle, is full-on divorce.
Maybe Meghan accepted a limited British stay because Harry wanted it. Maybe she saw a professional opening. Maybe the acting discussions made a temporary arrangement worthwhile. But nothing in her celebration of Monteceto suggested Britain had become her true emotional home. Preserving every part of the California setup, down to the chickens, makes the cautious, temporary language look deliberate. Then, before the British experiment has even started, 2 new countries enter the conversation. Australia is reportedly attractive after a successful recent visit and offers the warm climate Meghan prefers.
You know things are so bad when even sacked CNN host Don Lemon, that the perpetual lefty lunatic who's always on the side of stupid, even he is confused.
What? What is going on here? After all that consternation, all that stuff y'all put us through, the Oprah interview, all that, oh my God, what color is the baby going to be behind the ears in the royal family? Prince Harry and his wife Meghan and their children are moving back to Britain.
Canada is familiar territory from the first chaotic phase of Megxit, but the timing is almost comical. The Sussexes have not properly returned to Britain, yet people are already discussing where they might go after leaving it. What kind of homecoming begins with an escape plan? If Britain is the answer, why are Australia and Canada being kept in reserve? If Harry's goal is to repair family ties and move closer to his father, how would relocating across the world help?
There are several factors at play. There is Harry's alleged reported other woman who is American, who is on the west coast of the country, who clearly Meghan would like to create some distance. Reportedly, allegedly, Meghan knows about this other woman having found incriminating texts on Harry's phone. Then there is money. They are out of it. The deals are done. They have dried up. Netflix has said, thank you, but for the time being, we are done. A judge in the UK has just ordered Harry and his co-claimants to make their first payment.
And if Meghan truly welcomes the new British chapter, why does every version of the story come with a reminder that she may not stay? Australia makes the plan look less like a strategy and more like permanent restlessness. Britain became unbearable, so they went to Canada. Canada was temporary, so they moved to California. California was presented as freedom until Hollywood enthusiasm cooled and Britain became useful again. Now, Australia waits in the background before Britain has even had time to disappoint them.
Meghan Markle has given us a sneak peek of what's next. We're very lucky. She's posted this new as ever video to Instagram with the caption, a little hint of what's coming. Here it is. Well, here we go, Maureen. What a sneak peek. I mean, is she preparing for her life in the Cotswolds? What on earth is that?
At some point, a fresh start stops looking brave and begins looking like an attempt to avoid asking why the last one failed. New scenery can change the photographs, but it cannot repair damaged trust, revive failed projects, or force a divided couple to want the same life. Without a shared plan, every glamorous destination eventually becomes another departure lounge.
But the bigger point is that actually the gentleman role was Meghan's cover. It was just that, a cover story that the mainstream media brought into. Because anyone with a brain knows you don't move your family, you don't change what school your kids are going to because you've got a bit part role in a very limited series where you could move and commute for a matter of weeks.
What would the next reinvention sound like? Another search for privacy announced to the entire world? Another promise that a new country finally understands them? A successful tour and warm applause can feel wonderful, but visiting Australia is not the same as building a life there. If Royal Britain, familiar Canada, and celebrity California could not provide a lasting answer, why should anyone believe a fourth destination will magically solve the underlying problem? There is also an obvious practical conflict.
At first, they told you they were moving to Canada. Then they decided to move to the United States at the last minute. I'm hearing reports that they are planning on staying in the United Kingdom for, I don't know, maybe a year before they head over to Australia. You know, why should you have to pay for these two people that are totally undisciplined and can't and won't commit to anything?
Harry's entire emotional reason for returning centers on proximity. His father, his history, and the royal family relationships he still appears desperate to repair. Australia would erase that advantage immediately. Meghan's supposed reasons for accepting Britain appear more conditional: an acting opportunity, business possibilities, and a temporary family arrangement. If the job disappears and the reception remains hostile, very little may keep her there. And this is where the story becomes far more serious. One theory insists this is not a conventional family relocation at all, but a trial separation hidden inside a temporary move.
And I just think there really is a lot of value to when you anchor into your own knowing, then you're telling your own story. Yeah. You're telling your own story and how you show up in the world, what you do. You actually don't need to say anything.
Anchor into your own knowing. Please, please. We all know what's happening.
That has not been confirmed, and there has been no official announcement that the marriage is ending. It must remain speculation. Yet the theory has gained attention because the details increasingly suggest Harry and Meghan may want entirely different lives. Harry is being pulled toward Britain. His father is there. His title, history, and royal identity are rooted there. Many of the institutions that once gave him purpose are British. America never seemed to provide the independent role he expected.
Just a reminder, actually, there was an incident, I think, when Harry came in July, and they were asking something about Meghan to Harry's PR team, and they go, "We don't know. You're going to have to ask her PR team." And it's like, well, they were supposed to do this event together. Why do they have these two separate PR teams that are not actually in coordination with each other? And it's almost like right now, even we're seeing some cross briefing between their competing PR teams.
In Britain, even if he remains outside the official circle, he is still Prince Harry, and he may feel time is running out to repair those relationships while his father is still king. Meghan appears pulled in the opposite direction. Her businesses are American. Her lifestyle image depends on California. Monteceto represents control, money, and the world she personally created. Britain offers hostile headlines, poor polling, security disputes, royal restrictions, and no automatic seat at the family table. Even a Christmas invitation is reportedly uncertain.
Harry also is acutely aware that his royal stock is falling, and we can visually see that, can't we? Look, we can visually see that. That is not Photoshop, as according to Taz revealed. That is an unfortunate angle for Harry. Some might say this is actually worse than an upskirt shop. Alarming baldness indeed. And no, it is not AI or not Photoshop.
Why would she permanently trade control in California for a role in Britain that nobody has promised her? That difference matters more than any polished photograph of the couple arriving together. Harry may see Britain as a return to himself. Meghan may see it as a 6-month obligation. He may be imagining reconciliation and permanence, while she is already preserving the route back to California or considering Australia. Two people can board the same plane and still believe they are traveling toward completely different futures. Every change in the language strengthens that suspicion. A permanent relocation became an extended autumn period. 6 months became a year, or perhaps longer. Australia and Canada suddenly appeared.
Last year or earlier this year that they were going to separate professionally. Their brands were going to separate, which at the time I thought that's the precursor to a personal separation.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see how they've been increasingly leading separate lives.
Monteceto remained intact. The chickens stayed behind, and Meghan's American world remained protected. That does not look like two people confidently closing one chapter together. It looks like two competing plans temporarily squeezed into the same announcement. Even the timing feels more like a negotiation than a decision. Harry may need Britain now, while his father is king and some narrow path back toward the family still exists. Meghan may need guarantees, a serious professional opportunity, control over her image, and the freedom to return to California. If neither gets what they want, the shared arrangement falls apart. That is not merely a disagreement about an address. It is a conflict over identity, ambition, and which version of their marriage is meant to survive.
Harry is keen for Archie to learn to play rugby and cricket, while Harry himself wants to watch more rugby matches upon his return. Again, it's not a reason to overturn years of apparent happiness in the United States because Harry wants to catch a few more rugby games. Who is believing this nonsense?
And imagine what happens if the British trial goes badly. Meghan can return to the mansion, her brand, the household staff, and the California life she never surrendered. Harry can remain in Britain and continue pursuing reconciliation. They would not need to announce a dramatic split. One could simply extend the stay while the other quietly went home. A temporary arrangement could become permanent before either side publicly admitted that anything had changed. Again, none of this confirms a separation, but it explains why the secret split theory refuses to disappear. The temporary wording, Meghan's attachment to Monteceto, Harry's fixation on Britain, the preserved American base, and discussion of yet another country all point toward uncertainty.
Seriously. The mockery, the stories write themselves. The media, the press, even the satirical press, they are absolutely going at them.
No individual detail proves a marriage collapse. Together, they reveal how difficult it has become to identify one destination that both Meghan and Harry genuinely share. Their public story has always depended on presenting themselves as an inseparable team against the world. The moment their preferred futures begin pointing in opposite directions, that entire image becomes much harder to maintain. The final humiliation is that this announcement was supposed to demonstrate control. Meghan and Harry wanted a bold international family decision made on their own terms. Instead, it produced cheers in America, mockery in Britain, and questions about whether they can even agree on a continent. Neighbors reportedly celebrated. Royal access remains restricted.
Revealed this morning that Meghan's role had been leaked to make her look as if she was in demand. A typical Sunshine Shacks PR tactic, no doubt driven by Meghan, which has blown up in their face.
Meghan's acting comeback was cast into doubt, and the permanent return was downgraded to an autumn experiment almost immediately. Perhaps the chickens are the only members of the Sussex household with a clear plan. They are staying safely inside the California life. Meghan spent years building while everyone else flies into another storm. They do not need a security review, an invitation to Sandringham, or a decision between Britain, Canada, and Australia. They already know exactly where home is. The Sussexes promised a new chapter, but they have created a cliffhanger. Will Britain become a real home, or merely another temporary stop? Will Australia provide the next reinvention? Could Meghan return to Monteceto while Harry remains near his father? Or will they arrive together and prove every separation rumor wrong? For now, the only certain part of this carefully announced move is that almost nothing about it appears settled.
We've got this migrant crisis going on the south coast. Now they're coming across from America as well. Got these two migrants, Harry and Meghan. Now that really is a crisis.
What do you think? Is this a genuine return to Britain, or a temporary arrangement covering much deeper differences? Is Australia truly under consideration, or simply the next escape route after another failed reinvention? And do those chickens remaining in Monteceto reveal where Meghan still believes her real home is? Tell us below and subscribe, because at this rate, the next Sussex U-turn may be announced before the first one is complete. If you enjoyed this video and want even more royal family content, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I'm uploading exclusive investigations, bonus content, and members-only videos that won't be released on YouTube. I'll be adding new content regularly. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to everything, the link is in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.